Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs, good afternoon. Welcome. It is so good to be here with you on Facebook Live. Let me just get dialed in here. All right, here we go. We are live here on Facebook for the Golden Mastermind. Here we go, for the Golden Mastermind Facebook Live Tuesday. Here we are, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So good to be here with you. Jeffrey Combs in sky blue. Here we go. One of my favorite colors. Here's the blue Sharpie. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure to be here with you. Diana, how are you, Diana? Good to see you this afternoon. You are first on Facebook Live. Good to be here with you. This is Jeffrey Combs, president and founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Breathing, releasing, and letting go. Scott Lucas, gratitude, Scott, for our long-term friendship. Scott, it will be 3 years ago, 2019, that you attended the last Breakthroughs to Success. That was 2019. And Scott does say, hey there, everyone. Good to be here with you on, this is actually 3-4 Tuesday. I'll explain it to you. So today, at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, I host the GMS, Golden Mastermind Seminars Facebook Live. At 6 p.m. this evening, California time, that's 9 p.m. Eastern, I have the Recovering Narcissist live Zoom call. And then at 9 p.m. Pacific this evening, I will be hosting 2-4 Tuesday. So that's actually 2 Facebook Lives and 1 Zoom on Tuesday afternoon while producing results from the comfort of my home. Linda K. Davis, who lives right down the freeway from me in beautiful Modesto, California. Welcome. Susan Dampier, good to see you this afternoon. Susan, congratulations on your medical recovery. For those of you who are not following Susan Dampier, she had a medical procedure done. If you want to follow Susan, she's a champion warrior and a woman I highly, highly endorse. So follow Susan's content. She's a rock star warrior mom, mother of 6, multiple 6-figure income earner, as an employee and as a business owner simultaneously. That is the trifecta. Mother of 6, 6-figure business owner, and 6-figure employee in the banking industry. That is called crushing it. Welcome, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. This will be my last Tuesday call before the Thanksgiving holiday, a weekend of gratitude. So let's move into some inspiration this afternoon. All right, so I want to thank all of you for being here this afternoon. The topic for today's Facebook Live is this right here. It's called Living in Your Truth. This is the handwritten version, Living in Your Truth. And then this is what I email every single day out there. So Susan says I owe so much to me. Thank you very much, Susan. I do appreciate that. I am very grateful to receive that. So living your truth. So for years, I lived a lie. I lived a lie that I was not good enough. And that's the number one lie that we live, is that we are not good enough. To live in your truth is to live that you are good enough. That's where it begins, the fundamental foundation. And that's in spite or despite of successes, victories, relationships, money in the bank, accomplishments, assets in these situations, because there's also a possibility that you're living in overwhelm. You're living in liability debt. You're in some level of recovery while still experiencing relapses, but those are facts, but the also fact is you're good enough, and that is the truth that you begin to accept. Because in spite or despite of, and as a child of God, you are good enough. And as you begin to accept that you are good enough, you can begin to climb up the ladder of consciousness. You can let go of the anxiety, fear, and doubt that you hold on to. You can let go of the cause that creates the effect of why you do what you can do. You can separate your feelings from the events that shape them. You are no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. So if you have the content and you are following along, so this is the seven steps here. living in denial. So living in denial means that you continue to live in a state of not good enough. You live in a state of addiction. You don't know why you do what you do. You keep doing the same thing over and over. You keep attracting the same men, the same women, the same dysfunctional relationships. You keep going back to your family who continues to violate you, traumatize you, single you out. You keep dating the same men, the same women. You keep attracting the same teammates. You let the boss continue to violate you, and you don't know why this is happening to you. And then you continue to stay in this state of this doesn't make sense. Well, as you let go of denial, that's acceptance. And acceptance means you move into a full state of acceptance where you surrender, and you're surrendering your ego. You surrender your will to be right. You surrender how much control you're in. And in our surrender, that's not a white flag of giving up. It's mean you're surrendering your will to be right. You're surrendering your struggle. You're surrendering control. You surrender to the fact that you have challenges, and you are committing while surrendering. Concurrently, you surrender the fight. You've been fighting with yourself and others. You surrender that fight and that struggle, the trauma bond, and you move in to higher states of consciousness. Tamara, good to see you this afternoon. It is an honor to be your coach. The topic tomorrow for today's Facebook Live is living your truth, and your truth is you are good enough. And every one of you, it's important that you give yourself that wrap. You wrap around yourself, and you breathe, and you release, and you take that energy in, and you're good enough. And you know the truth. You know what's going on in the world. I watch many of your content, your posts. I'm in alignment with you. I'm concurrent with you. I feel you. I'm in the same place you are. I'm a patriot. I'm out there. I'm fighting the fight. I'm doing my part. I'm writing the content. I'm delivering the truth. I see it. I sense it. I feel it. I look for other people who are truth seekers, people who have wisdom, intel, people who have content, people who realize what's going on in the world, people who are socially aware, who are conscious, who see what's going on. And there's more to life than business and money, because there's value and there's service. And you realize the lies we've been told, the trauma-based mind control you've experienced, that everything you thought about movies and mainstream media and history and sports, you start to understand there's a lot more truth than what you've been fed up here in the front on the index and the table of contents. Because when you go into the middle of the book, you go, oh my fucking God, there's more to this. There's so much more to this. And when you start to follow truth seekers, and you start to become cause driven. In the 90s, I was part of a cause called We the People. And I bought into that cause. And I had the people come to my doorstep, the people I didn't want to have come to my doorstep, because I was purpose and cause driven. And when your cause is bigger than your problems, then you will come from your passion. When you are cause and purpose driven, the facts don't fucking matter. So, the fact is, we are being waged war upon our children. We are being waged war upon our freedoms. There's a war. We are in an emotional war right now with Satan. And it's so imperative that you do your part. And you don't have to be a hero. The world doesn't require heroes. The world requires people with consciousness, people who are cause-driven, who are purpose-driven. See the tears? That's purpose. I've been at this for a long time. I got exposed to the truth in 1979. It started with the first movie that really woke me up was a movie called The Manchurian Candidate. Then I began to read Robert Ludlum's books. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what it means. I started reading Ludlum's books on Jason Bourne. For those of you who understand the Bourne trilogy, the Bourne Supremacy, the Bourne Ultimatum, and the other Bourne book, if you understand that, well, you'll understand what that's about, what that was absolutely about. And when you become purpose-driven, see, when in your business, the reason you're in business is not to help people. The reason you're in business is to create commerce. The reason you're in business is to empower yourself. The reason you're in business is to empower others. You're in business to be able to bring goods and services and commerce to people. And it's also your responsibility to understand that a large percent of the world is not open to your message. They're not open to your message because they're living a lie. They're not open. They're not interested. They're not living in their truth. They're not seeking what you have to offer. We're in a split world right now, and it's inverted. For those of you who understand inversion, I mean, it's upside down. And there's a lot that's inverted right now, and it's very upside down. And there's the war that we're waging is with Satan. And the more that you understand that it's bigger than just the Satan that you thought you were fighting when you were a child. It's much bigger than this. And so the cause is much greater than it's ever been, because it's your children's freedoms, it's our freedom, it's free choice, it's free enterprise, it's your ability to create what the free market will bear. And the market is still bearing. You can go out there right now today. If you get out of your head about how high the interest is and how high the gas prices are, and you focus on inspiring people and find the people who believe what you believe, because that's what truth is. So if you know the truth, you seek the people who seek the truth. And when you're in that truth, you will attract your reality more frequently other truth seekers, people who are truthers, people who seek truth versus falsehood. That is one of David Hawkins' books. It is a great book, and the vibration of truth vibrates in the 800 to 1,000 cycles a second, because truth is enlightenment. And when you are truly enlightened, you are so purpose and cause driven. There's no rejection, there's no abandonment, there's no resentment, there's no conflict. And you only will engage conflict if they bring it to your door. But if they bring it to your door, you will bring the truth, because you are purpose and cause driven. And when you are in the truth, there is no fear, because you are truth, because truth neutralizes fear. But if you're in doubt, then you're not in truth. So when you cross the truth bridge, you stay there, because you cannot go back. You know it, because light diminishes darkness. And when you live in the light, that is truth. And that's when you become cause-driven, purpose-driven. That is your truth, and it is your purpose. You're here for a reason, and it's not to tiptoe quietly through life and be disappointed. You're not here to be a disappointment. You're not here to live in frustration. You're here to be your highest good. You cannot do that when you're emotionally overwhelmed, when you're focused on your debt, you're focused on your problems, you're focused on anxiety, fear, and doubt. And you spend time in your head ruminating, you spend time in your head procrastinating, you spend time in your head trying to figure it out. That is not truth. The truth is you're good enough, and what you're not doing is you're not bringing that truth to free enterprise. You're not bringing it to the free world. You're not stating your message. You're not in the energy of truth. So if you're in a lot of doubt, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of fear, that's your lower self. Your higher self seeks the truth and knows the truth. That is consciousness. And it's the key to consciousness is allowing yourself to be aware, to understand, to know. And in that communication between the brain and the body, this is why when I'm coaching you, I'll point out to you the kindas, the guesses, the probablys, if I had to say. So when you're communicating in a mixed message, you're in doubt. You're not in truth. And people ask me like prospecting questions, what do I say? Well, when you're prospecting in any business venture or if you're looking for a soulmate or a teammate or a contractor or a vendor, the quality and the clarity of your communication is your truth. And so when you're asking people questions, you can hear their lies. You can hear them say, well, I'll get back to you. Well, that usually means they won't be getting back to you. And when you're able to communicate with people from clarity, you can hear their non-clarity. You hear their anxiety, fear, and doubt. You know that they're not what you're looking for. So many people they don't understand what it means to prospect in businesses. They get so overwhelmed that they go out and they try and find people that this would be good for. So they would be good at this, or this would be good for you. Well, then they're disappointed because they're not qualifying the prospect. They're not qualifying the contractor. They're not qualifying the vendor. They're not asking the qualified questions about the truth you seek. You're looking for answers. You're looking for people who believe what you believe. So when I'm hiring a concrete contractor, I want to know when he's available. Well, I'm really busy. Well, that's not what I ask you. I ask you, what's your availability? Well, let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. I didn't ask you to get back to me. I asked you, what's your schedule? And if you can't give me your schedule, then it's goodbye. I mean, it's that simple. Now, when broken down to the common denominator of common sense, that's what you would start to understand you're looking for in teammates. You're looking for people who believe what you believe. You're looking for a customer who's a branded customer, a brand partner. You're looking for someone who will buy your brand, whether that's you or the brand you're selling. If you're selling American-made products, ask that question. Are you looking for American-made products that can be delivered directly to your doorstep? I mean, if that's important to you. I mean, are you looking for a way to create income from the comfort of your home? That's a clarity question. Well, I never thought about it. Well, I didn't ask if you thought about it. I asked you a yes and no question. So when people are not able to answer questions and they themselves are in an overwhelmed state, there's a high probability they're not looking for what you're offering. And that's truth. You let these people go easily and effortlessly and quickly, and you don't waste time on non-qualified buyers. This is so challenging for most of the world to understand that does business because they're coming from codependence. They're enabling, over-obligating, doing more, which then leads to disappointment, frustration, overwhelmed, avoidance, procrastination. Now, when you come from clarity, that is truth. And when you're able to easily and effortlessly let go, you are not the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. That is truth. So if I'm pissed off, there's a high probability it's going to affect my bladder and my prostate. And if I'm really pissed off, then that means I'm going to be inflamed. And that inflammation that I'm creating in my body is a direct reflection of the inflamed family environment I grew up in. So if I'm walking around this planet pissed off and angry and frustrated and disappointed, then I'm going to have bladder issues and prostate issues because that's how the mind-body connection operates. But then if I go to a doctor and I get on Flomax because I just went to Big Pharma and I'm on Flomax, well, there's going to be side effects to that. And all I'm going to do is Band-Aid and mask that situation. That's not truth. That's a lie. But if I start to heal the inside, if I start to let go of that inflamed family environment, as if I start to let go of why I'm angry, if I start to let go of my resentment, if I start to practice the 12 steps of recovery that I've been practicing for 30 years, if I start to read letting go and start to apply the principles of letting go, then I'm going to separate my feelings from the events that shape them. That is truth. And in that truth, I am good enough. And when you are good enough, then that's truth. It's not debatable. When you've crossed the good enough bridge, you're on the other side of it. But if you're on this other side, well, I'm not sure if I'm good enough, I better stay over here and do some more research. I better struggle some more because I'm not sure if I'm good enough to succeed, and I'm not sure if I can keep up daily. And that's why so many people avoid failing. But they really are avoiding succeeding because they're not sure if they can maintain it. They're not sure if they can be responsible. And when you let go of that anxiety and you become purpose and cause driven, then failure is not an option because you are in so much light in that. When you've turned the light of truth on, that diminishes darkness. Because when you are love and you are light, there is no darkness. When you are cause and purpose driven, you will not fail. It's not possible because you will do what is ever required for your freedom. And that context applies to everything that's going on in this world today. When the cause is great enough, the facts don't matter. And that's when people begin to show up. My name is Jeffery Combs. I'm the president and founder of Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. If you are a former client and you would like to revisit coaching with me, I have a Black Friday coaching offer. Or if you're an existing client and would like to find out one-on-one about my Black Friday coaching offer this week that will be good up until Saturday, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you very much, everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure to be here with you on a 3-4 Tuesday. So a 1 o'clock Pacific Facebook Live, a 6 o'clock Zoom on the adult children of recovering narcissists, and then 9 o'clock this evening, Facebook Live. You have a great afternoon, everyone.